Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda Shee. I'm an anesthesiologist and intensivist, and today I want to talk about 10 ways that I stay motivated to study at home. I don't know about you guys, but when I was a pre-med in college, when I was a medical student and as a resident, I really relied on going to coffee shops and meeting up with my friends in order to be productive. Now, with the pandemic of 2020 and now extending into 2021, I have had to adjust the way that I study and the way that I approach things in order to still be productive, because I won't go out to coffee shops now and do those long study sessions anymore. And so I've had to adopt and change and be able to try to create a place and setting and optimize everything at home so that I can still be efficient, effective, and achieve my studying goals. Now, as a anesthesiologist and intensivist, I am an attending doctor. A lot of people have asked, what are you even studying for? Well, for anesthesiology, what I will say is that our board certification process actually extends beyond our residency training. So I've already completed all of my written boards and have passed all of those boards. However, I still have an oral board examination, and following that, I still have a written critical care board examination in order to be completely board certified within my specialties. So I do have a couple exams to still study for, and that is why I still need to stay motivated to study. And big picture, as a physician, this career is so rewarding and gratifying because we're constantly learning and constantly growing every single day. And that's one of the things I love about it. So I still have things I need to learn and study, even though I'm done with formal training. So I wanted to get right into things. The first way, or the first tip I have in order to stay motivated to keep studying, is that you have to think about the big picture. What is it that you're studying for? I want you to think about what it is that your goal is that you want to achieve. What do you envision yourself doing? That's really what is important to kind of keep in mind and not forget about when you're going through the process of studying for an exam or trying to get into some kind of graduate medical school, professional school, whatever it is. The most important thing is remembering why you're here, remembering where you want to be and how this is one step forward towards that goal. So for me, this studying is one step forward towards making sure that I provide the highest quality care to my patients and that I am able to stay up to date on important new scientific advancements or any kinds of new medications or treatments within my field. So studying for things related to anesthesiology or critical care are important to me because for me, that means that I can move forward with my goal of being the best possible doctor that I can. So that's number one. Number two, I have always been a big planner or someone who likes to set an agenda so that I have very, very meaningful and specific tasks that I get done. So saying like finish studying for boards doesn't help me. That doesn't tell me anything. That doesn't get me motivated to go and open my book and be able to get on my iPad and take notes. What does help me stay motivated though is knowing that I'm going to get through one case in this book, or I'm going to get through one chapter in this book and take notes for it. So making sure that you have measurable goals, things that you are going to achieve in this specific study session, can be helpful to really hone in on being focused on that and being successful in getting that done. By also breaking up your tasks, breaking up your studying into smaller, achievable chunks, you can then, later on I'll talk about the last kind of motivating thing, but recognize that you have accomplished something. And so that's really, I think, important to consider and to do at the start of any kind of study session, is really be able to identify what specific thing are you going to get done. Are you going to get through 100 flashcards? Are you going to get through a chapter of a book? Are you going to get through a section of something? Are you going to do 100 question bank questions? Whatever it is, you need to set it ahead of time so that you can look at it and say, oh, I achieved 80% of that goal, or I achieved 100% of that goal. So those are things that I think are really important. Number 3, I am a big fan of rewarding myself. I'll do anything. I will bribe myself in order to be productive and get some studying done and all of that. And so for me, what I like to do now that I'm stuck at home is that when I have a full day where I'm non-clinical and I need to get studying done, I end up actually planning a time to walk outside and go get my treat. Okay, so frequently my treat is going down to Chinatown and getting my favorite boba or bubble tea. I know any of you guys that follow me on Instagram, you guys know I'm obsessed with boba and bubble tea. But Chinatown is about a mile away. And so for me, I find that to kind of fulfill a couple of the things on my list of ways to stay motivated by going outside, taking a walk, getting my treat. Or another treat I'll sometimes do is I'll go over to Starbucks and get whatever their newest fancy latte is. And that's just another kind of treat or thing that will motivate me to get going through that day. Sometimes I'll give myself bigger motivating things, like if, for example, with starting this YouTube channel, I have told myself, if I get to a certain point, then I'll be able to upgrade my camera or upgrade into a new microphone or, other kinds of things that I'll tell you now, I've already kind of felt like I've invested because I bought this as a part of a way to edit videos and make this channel. And so I've made my upfront investment and I need to achieve certain goals or things in order to kind of move forward and be able to do more. So as a result, make sure to reward yourself. So if you get X thing done, you will go get something else. So for me, bubble tea does it. Now, the next thing, the fourth thing I want to talk about is actually related to the rewards component and how I kind of package it all together, and that's taking breaks. Now, in my step 1 study plan that I created for my initial licensing exams as a medical student, I have a blog entry that outlines every single minute that I was studying and what I should be doing. And so for that particular time, what I found was that I had to schedule in breaks. Now, as a full-time working physician, being able to schedule every single day is not really doable. That's not something that's practical at all. And so as a result, I have now changed my approach so that the days I have off, I just make sure that I have set myself a specific achievable goal. And then I've gone ahead and moved on and decided, hey, I need to take a break around this time and I need to be doing X, Y, or Z thing. So commonly, what I will do is that I will go and plan to go get my bubble tea at a specific time. And during that time that I'm getting my bubble tea, I have to go for quite a walk because it's about a mile away to go get it. And that's how I kind of force myself to take a break, is by going to get my treat. And I make sure to schedule that in because it's really important when you're hyper-focused on a task. If you're being really motivated and you're focused on it and you're not getting distracted by anything, then, it's fine to be able to keep going. But if you're finding that you're starting to kind of slow down in your ability to focus, or you really just aren't absorbing the information that you're reading, then it's really time that you take a break. So I do schedule in breaks or recognize that I need breaks when I'm doing a study session. Now, the fifth thing I like to talk about and recommend is exercise. I know this is kind of, everyone says you need to exercise, blah, 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 whatever. But I find that personally, I know that I am a morning workout type of person. I am a morning person. I have all the energy, all of the clarity, the mental energy to really get stuff done in the morning. And I find that for me, when I work out in the morning before I even start my day, that I've gotten my day off on the right foot and that I have the energy and the motivation to do even more. The sixth thing I want to talk about is optimizing your surroundings. So I didn't really have the greatest setup. So I currently, and I'll show you in my study video, I had set up kind of a workstation desk area with an extra monitor at our kitchen table. But the kitchen chairs are not super comfortable to sit in all day, and it's far away from the window, and I really like to be able to look out the window and see what's going on every once in a while, look up and be able to kind of refocus my eyes somewhere else. And so what I found was that workstation, while it works for big Zoom calls for conferences and managing other types of of things, it really isn't practical for me being productive in a study session. So I have found that I've needed to use a couple different environments in order to be productive. So this is one environment that, I find to be really helpful because I have a window close by, I have a comfy couch, I have a nice light, and this works out really nicely. Another thing too about my environment and about the things to help you succeed that are important are that for me, I know that I need to be sipping on something. So I have gone out and gotten my favorite teas. I usually like Stash as a brand. They have a really good white green tea mix that I love. But anyway, I go and boil some water, get some tea ready, and then I go ahead and use that. Or, if I'm feeling like I'm getting more tired, that I'll just pop an espresso in there, and just so I have something to sip on to keep me motivated to keep going. It also mirrors what I would normally have in a coffee shop setting, right? I like the coffee shop setting because it makes me feel like I'm around people and I always have access to caffeine and other really fun drinks. And so that's why those are some of the things that I've done in order to optimize my work area and to give me things that will help me succeed. Another thing I did is I actually bought this Amazon little laptop stand. So I put, I'll work on my laptop here, I'll have my book on here, I'll have my iPad, and I have my Apple Pencil. And so what I'll typically do is I'll actually just sit here, put this in front of me, get some work done, and then when I need to, I'll take it away. So that way I can kind of change my environment and be able to switch it up if I'm feeling like the place I'm currently at is not really working for me. I'm not being productive at that point. And so I felt like this was actually a really awesome purchase because it also helps with getting my Zoom calls done and other types of things. So really optimize your environment and be able to set up yourself for success. Another kind of last fun thing is that I've moved one of our chairs that we put in our bedroom into the middle of my living room because it's just a more comfortable chair, and I find that sitting on the couch, I just have really bad posture, or the cushions are just not enough in order to give me really good support. So I end up having back pain when I sit on the couch for too long to do work. So I've moved now a chair into the middle of the living room on a daily basis to get some work done using that. Now, the seventh thing I want to talk about that I use is that I talked to you guys about how in the beginning I was a coffee shop person, literally pre-med, medical school, residency. I always went to a coffee shop to get work done, and I was super productive when I did that. Now that we are in the middle of a pandemic, I have had to adjust things. So one of the things that I have started to try to do is there are a ton of study with me videos here on YouTube. Even I'm going to put up a couple of study with me videos, and I hope you'll check that out. And what I found was it was kind of nice to feel like there was another human being, even though it was on my computer, but another human being that was being productive, that had things that they needed to get done. And that helped me kind of feel like, oh yeah, I'm not alone. I have this community, or I have another person that I can study with or be productive with. And so I really love that. Some of these study with me videos have music in the background too. So if you like music, that helps. But for me, I like to listen to my own music. It's really just the physical presence of someone that I really need in order to be productive and to keep studying. Another thing that I've done, and this is my 8th tip, is that I have set up meetings like Zoom calls with people that can keep me accountable to get certain things done. So for example, I have a conference presentation or talk coming up in which I'm working with a couple other people to do it. So what I've done is I've set up a call with at least one of those people, and we have plowed out what does the outline look like, what are some of the slides, what should they include, what does everything look like, and we talk it over and get the work done in real time together. Now you can apply this also to your study sessions. You can say, hey, I know there's someone else that needs to be studying for X, Y, or Z thing, or someone else that needs to be doing a conference presentation or preparing for something. You can schedule a time with them so that you guys can catch up for a few minutes and then be productive together. I know it's so weird, but then it kind of feels like you're at that coffee shop with your friend again. So when you're stuck on something and you need a break, you can look up and be like, hey, how's it going? I'm getting stuck on this question. whatever, that type of thing, especially if you're studying with someone who's doing the same thing. So if you're studying for the MCAT or the USMLEs, find someone else that's doing that. When I was studying for step 1, I actually frequently tried to set up times to share a study room with one of my classmates to keep me accountable. So it's all about accountability. That is the important thing about setting something up with someone so that you can get it done together and be productive or study together. The 9th tip I want to talk about is knowing when to stop. I think that we have this idea in our minds that we can just be like an Energizer bunny and keep going and going and going, and that studying, can just be an infinite thing, but your mind gets tired and sometimes you get distracted, and there's just so much in the world and there's so much going on, and honestly there's a lot of distractions and other things, but the reality is you have to know when to take a break. You have to know also when to stop. So this is really my 9th tip, is really recognizing when you have hit a wall that you just keep reading the same thing over and over again. And even after you've taken a break and you've come back to the task at hand, you are not being productive. You are not able to actually do anything at that point. And then you go down this terrible spiral, death spiral of being like, oh my God, I haven't done anything. Oh my God, I've wasted so much time. I can't believe I wasted this much time. And then it just is a self-perpetuating, self-fulfilling prophecy about feeling like you're a failure, when in reality, you just have hit a wall and you may need to just stop for the day. That's fine. I think we need to normalize that. We need to say, hey, this isn't working. I think there's a part of insight, self-insight, that's important to recognize and know that if you've stopped having the mental energy to do something, it's time to stop doing that task, and it's time to stop doing that, and you should focus on something else. Really, it's okay to take some time and decide, hey, this evening, I've been through X, Y, or Z thing, or I've been studying really well all week. It's time for me to just watch Netflix, or decide to binge on YouTube videos, or kind of live someone else's life, or whatever it is, to go for a walk, go for dinner outside with a friend. Whatever it is, the point is really knowing and recognizing when to stop is an important thing on how to stay motivated to study, so that you can come back to this task or this thing you have to do tomorrow and get to work. And the 10th thing that I want to go over, the 10th recommendation or way that I stay motivated, is reflecting upon what I've done and celebrating those small accomplishments. It's kind of like when you see your to-do list and you've checked everything off of it. It's that little celebratory feeling of being like, wow, this is amazing. I have accomplished something, and being okay with being proud of that. That's awesome. That's good. You should be proud of your productivity. Even if you only got 3 things done, at least you got those 3 things done. It's better than 0. So take the time and applaud yourself and give yourself credit for getting what you've gotten done. It's that simple. Anyway, I hope that these 10 things were helpful tips or helpful ideas to keep you motivated, because that's how I stay motivated. Anyway, if you like this channel, please take a moment and subscribe, and hit like down at the bottom if you like this video. Let me know if there's any other specific tips or tricks or things you want me to talk about in a future video down in the comments. And let me know if there's anything, if you really like this video. I love hearing from you guys. So please, please, please take a moment, leave a comment, let me know what you think. I'll see you next time.